All right, welcome everybody to our candidate forum for mayor and city council. We believe at the chamber that it's important that we bring candidates to our chamber members and to hear from them, for us to be able to make our own decisions about who we think can best lead our city and help us at the chamber achieve our mission of Together We Champion Economic and Community Prosperity. To all of our candidates, we appreciate you for running and for caring about our city. We know that running is hard, and then we know governing is even harder. So we appreciate you very much. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much, Michael, for that message. We appreciate you. And now we are going to, we're going to get started here in 1 second. I'm going to send Michael back to attendee so he can enjoy this session. So thank you again for all of you joining us today. My name is Britton Merritt. I am the VP of Marketing here at the Greater Arlington Chamber, and we're thrilled to host this candidate forum. So I'm going to go over the rules briefly before we get started. So this is a showcase. It is not a debate. Our audience will be available to listen to questions, and each candidate will go in order that they appear on the ballot. But this isn't a conversation. It's more of a answer the questions that are provided. So each candidate will have a 2-minute opening remarks that they can have, and then we will ask them 6 questions in a random order. I have this candy bowl here full of different question orders, and I will draw one for each candidate, and we will ask them the questions in that order. The questions were provided 48 hours in advance-ish, and they have had time to prepare answers to those questions. You cannot skip a question. You must answer every question in the order it's provided. If we do not get to the final question, that is okay. You can answer up until you run out of time. They will have 7 minutes to answer questions. So with that said, we are going to start with Mayor. The mayor is the first place on the ballot, and the first name on that will be Amy Cornell. So Amy, I'm going to promote you up to panelist so everyone can see you. And thank you for joining us this morning. Good morning, Amy. Do we have your audio?
I think so. Good morning.
Awesome. So I'm going to start a timer, and we're going to get started with your opening statement.
Great. Well, hey guys, I'm Amy Cornell, and really in a city of 400,000, it is surprising that we didn't have more challengers to come into this race, but it is also an impossible situation of what we ask our mayor to do, really serving in a full-time capacity, taking years out of their professional career for no compensation and for a target on their back. And so it really is one of those that we are excited to come forward and provide the citizens an option so that way they have some buy-in and some feeling like, hey, we are making a decision for our city. So I will tell you, I am not a candidate that's coming with a 3 or 8 point plan and saying it has to be this way or we're not going to be successful. I'm really looking to listen to our residents and come up with agenda points and things that that their representatives on council and they are coming to us with and saying, hey, this is what we need. I will tell you, in just talking with them so far, I'm hearing most often come forward that we just really don't feel seen. We feel like the visitors are getting more from our city than our residents, and we want more. We want more for our neighborhoods. We want more for the commercial corridors that we visit, and we really want to see that growth. I will tell you from my perspective, I'm also a little frustrated with that because I also want to give them some opportunities to come beside and help make that city what they want it to be too. And so we're looking for how can we come beside and serve with them. It's one of those things that Spencer and I have felt like was really important in building our business in town, was that we wanted to come beside and really help grow the city. And so that's why we have spent so much time in both professional organizations as well as the nonprofit community, serving on city commissions and boards, saying, hey, how can we roll up our sleeves and help to get the city to the next level? My background in finance and management has really helped me have those skills to build my business, but also to help serve. So I'm excited to provide that option for the citizens.
Right on time, 4 seconds left. Thank you so much for those answers, Amy. So we are going to move into your question round. So I'm going to shake this little bowl. And you are going to have your questions in the order 6, 1, 2, 4, 3, 5. Okay, so we're going to start with question 6. Small businesses contribute to our economy, employ our family and friends, and support our community. How do you feel the city could better support our local small business owners?
Yeah, so I am excited to really go to our small business owners and help them feel like, hey, we've got some support and we've got things to come to the table with. I think really so much of our economic development focus has been on this big, hey, we've got to have big numbers for job creation, and that is important, but we have so many small businesses that have so contributed to the fabric of what Arlington is, as well as employ so many of our residents as well. And so it's how do we help them be seen and help them get the resources that they need to help take their businesses to the next level too.
Wonderful. Okay, moving to your next question. We have number 1, which is, what prior civic or community service activities do you feel have prepared you to serve as mayor?
Yeah, so I am fortunate to be in a position where I've served on a lot of different things, but that also is what kind of made this the next natural position for it. So when I started, really, I did youth leadership Arlington in high school, but I did leadership Arlington back in 2009 and really took that seriously of graduating into leadership in the city, went through and have done a variety of different things. I'm proud to have served on the comp plan almost 10 years ago for the city, as well as many of the commissions, Landmark Commission, Landmark Preservation Commission, serve on TERS 1 now, serve on some of the mayor's councils, have just finished the residential infill task force last year. And just always ready to come in and serve on that city level, but also in the professional capacities as well. So I've served with the Board of Realtors, at the Chamber, with the Texas Association of Realtors, as well as many nonprofits. So just finished up a term of president for Women Inspired Philanthropy. Have also served with AWARE, with AUM. It's been such an honor to come in and serve on so many different ways.
Well, thank you for that answer. Okay, we are going to move to your third question, which is number 2. From your perspective, what is the most important issue facing Arlington? And as mayor, how would you address it?
Yeah, I think it's hard pressed for anybody to say that safety isn't really such an issue that's facing the city. But I guess for me, it's not just the safety aspect of it, it's the resources behind it. So how do we really dig in and look at our budget and say, how can we make impact and make sure that we are spending every dollar judiciously so that we can get the best outcomes for our city? I will tell you also, we've got these resources that are untapped, which is some of our citizenry of coming and helping with some of this. Some of it is as we all get better together, as we have more pride in the city, that helps us get where we don't have to try to outspend a crime level. We've got the ability to really have citizens come and help our PD to take us to the next level.
Thank you so much for that answer. We are now moving to number 4, which is economic development momentum continues in Arlington with the purchase of Lincoln Square, the Lowe's Hotel and Convention Center opening soon, and so much more. So much more. What is your economic development vision for the city?
Yeah, so excited about what is already on the ground and happening. I mean, there are some really cool things that are yet to come. Been excited to follow some of the charrette development on Lincoln Square to see what ideas are going to come out of it. Ultimately, we're waiting to see what the market drives on that, right? So the developers, yes, they're looking for input and hoping that we are able to get some of those key points through. But ultimately, we have some market-driven activities that are going to demand that more so than what we are commanding on some of it. And so how do we really look at, from an economic development perspective, of making sure that we are meeting market demand, but also really helping development come in a way that makes sense for Arlington, that is organic to Arlington, and that really feels like a good fit. I am not a proponent of just saving ED dollars and saying, oh, well, but we may need to save it because we're waiting for some savior to come in and help us from that perspective. We need to go through and really encourage that development to happen now. And so excited to see some of these great projects come online, and excited to go to that next level of how we get those next projects to come up for the next 3 years.
Thank you for that answer. We are going to move now to question 5, which is, what should City Council and the mayor be doing to promote and ensure equality of opportunity for all citizens in our community?
Yeah. Such a big deal. I was actually looking at a heat map yesterday with somebody about looking at the differences between the side of town and involvement, just even in the political process on it. And it's something that has to be addressed. We've got to make sure that we're hearing from all 99 square miles of Arlington, that we can't just take the loudest few and really the ones that have served in so many capacities up until now, but really encourage growth from all sides, encourage voices from all sides, and help them to come beside to be a part of that next level of growth. Now, what to me that does not mean is having them be siloed where they feel like they are only speaking to others of that same style. We want to make sure that our committees are full of voices from across the city so that they can all act in an appropriate way with representation for all people.
Thank you so much, Amy. We are going to move to your last question. You have about 1 minute and 20 seconds, and it is, as mayor, you are the leader of the city with more than 400,000 residents. Please describe your leadership style and how you would work with your city council and the city staff.
Yeah. So I have a more collaborative leadership style. I am really looking for how can we come together and make decisions going forward. This is not something where this is Amy's way and that's what it's got to be. I really want to hear from all of our colleagues on council, but also what they are, the people groups that they are representing. That's how this is supposed to work, right? So we've got our districts to come forward and then our at-large so that way we can all make sure that we are making decisions in the interest of all. I have loved serving in that way in previous capacities and don't plan to change that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Amy. We really appreciate you. And those are all the questions. So thank you again. We appreciate you running for mayor, and we are excited that you're here with us this morning. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Brittany.
And now we are going to bring up our second candidate for mayor, Jim Ross. He is the incumbent, so he is our current mayor. So Jim, I'm going to find you on this list, and I am going to promote you to panelist. Good morning, Jim.
My computer here in just a minute, Britton.
Good morning, Jim. Thank you so much for being with us here this morning. We are so excited to have you. So we are going to kick it off with your 2-minute opening statement. Let me set my timer and you're good to go.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you to the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce. I always welcome the opportunity to talk about the city, to brag about the city, and to promote the city. And that's the way I look at these forums here. For the last 2 years, I've been working my tail off to try to make this city a better place. This city had a great track record before I became mayor, and my job was to continue that path in the right direction. I'm pretty sure we've accomplished that job in the last 2 years. The biggest thing going on in the city is job growth. We've brought over 4,000 new jobs here. And when companies come here, they want to look at 3 things. They want to look at what kind of education is in the city that their employees' kids are going to be able to go to. They're going to want to look at how safe is your community. And then they're going to want to look at how well does your community work with one another? How well does your community deal with the social issues that are out there? With the education, we created the Mayor's Education Coalition. We brought all the public schools, private schools, charter schools, everybody together to work together for the first time in this entire state. Governor Abbott is now using that as an example of what communities can do for education. When it comes to safety, we just had yesterday at City Council the report from Chief Jones, and Arlington is the only big city in Texas where crime is getting better, not better crime, but we're improving on our crime statistics here, and crime is on the decrease here in Arlington. He has done a wonderful job with the police department there. And when it comes to working together, the people in Arlington are the biggest assets of Arlington. And we work together like nobody else's business. We've created the various advisory councils to help learn specifically from individual things. And I'll shut up now because your alarm went off.
It did vote. Thank you so much for your opening statement, Jim. So we are going to move to your question round. So let me shake up this bowl, see what order you get your questions in. You are 135624. So starting with number 1, what prior civic or community service activities do you feel have prepared you to serve as mayor?
Done a little bit of everything. I served as the chairman of the board of directors for the Arlington Police Foundation, on the board for the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce. I was on the board for the American Heart Association for the Special Olympics, been involved with the Miracle League, been involved with various trade organizations. I'm on the Margarita Society. It's been nonstop in my civic roles here in Arlington prior to becoming mayor.
Well, thank you so much for that answer, Jim. We are going to move to your second question, which is number 3. As mayor, you are a leader of the city of more than 400,000 residents. Please describe your leadership style and how you would work with your city council and the city staff.
I think, leadership is based on integrity. I learned that way back when I was in the Marine Corps. The most important trait of any leader is to have integrity. And that's someone who leads by example, who not only talks the talk, but walks the walk. And I would hope that my leadership style is just that. You can take me at my word. I'm gonna speak my mind, and I'm gonna walk the walk. So leading with tremendous integrity is critically important for me.
Well, thank you so much for that answer, Jim. We are going to move to your third question, number 5. What should city council and the mayor be doing to promote and ensure equality of opportunity for all citizens in our community?
It's critically important that we address this. I'm proud to say that when I became mayor, with the MWBE statistics, Black-owned businesses were less than 1% of the developers here in Arlington. We're now pushing 20% on that. That's not entirely up to me, or it's not entirely because of me, but we have our new equity officer in place, Troy Williams, who's done a phenomenal job. We continue to support the diversity in the community and the businesses, finding out what's important to the Asian and Latinos and Black communities with our advisory councils, and we'll continue to do that.
Thank you, Jim. Powering through these questions. Okay, number 6. Small businesses contribute to our economy, employ our family and friends, and support our community. How do you feel the city could better support our local business owners?
See, I went real fast on the others because I knew these were coming up, and this takes just a little bit longer to deal with. So I'm going to disagree with some of the statements made earlier. And the reason is this. The way you promote the small business is by doing those things that help provide them the funds necessarily to do so. Our Economic Development Corporation is funded by a 1/4-cent sales tax. Our sales tax comes predominantly from the entertainment district. And the people coming into the entertainment district are predominantly from outside of Arlington, which means we're using other people's money to promote our small business here. Our Economic Development Corporation has done wonderful things, including the Lincoln Square project, including Bell Helicopter, including the Town North Shopping Center, and more to come here soon. I'm excited about how we're able to take those monies generated from the sales tax of other people's money and use those to promote our small business here in Arlington. So it's not that you have to take your eye off of the small business to do the entertainment district, but you have to utilize what we have here for an economic development engine, the driving force, to help provide those funds necessary to build that small business.
Well, thank you so much for that answer, Jim. Okay, we are moving to question 2. From your perspective, what is the most important issue facing Arlington? And as mayor, how would you address it?
Most important issue continues to remain job creation. When you create good jobs for people, you help everything on all fronts. You help homelessness, you help crime, you're employing people that keep them busy and give them gainful employment. You help housing, affordable housing. You help everything when you do the job creation. So the most important thing is creating those type of jobs that people can raise a family on. That is the catalyst for making everything else work.
Thank you, Jim. And we're going to move into your last question, which is number 4. Economic development momentum continues in Arlington with the purchase of Lincoln Square, the Lowe's Hotel and Convention Center opening soon, and so many more things. What is your economic development vision for the city?
To continue the growth. We have so many projects going on. The Tisches have just purchased the Sheridan over there, and we're looking at a redevelopment of the Sheridan to make another huge Lowe's property over there. We have so many small companies, local small companies, who are now taking advantage of the opportunities through the Economic Development Corporation. It's outstanding. We're having such a great time with that. The revitalization of certain areas in Arlington is critically important. One of the things I'm very proud of that I'm working with staff on right now is I was the only Texas mayor invited to the Just City project in Harvard University. It's a fellowship program up there to identify certain areas within the city that need that revitalization. And we've chosen a part of East Arlington to work with some of the experts around the country with some of the experts at Harvard University to identify just how we can do that revitalization. That's going to bring strong, new, good jobs to a part of town that is in such desperate need of them. So we have a lot more to accomplish. One of the other big things going on, I was proud that we brought Texas Southern University here to Arlington. We're doing a ribbon cutting for them today. And I'm taking Texas Southern to Baltimore with me later on this year to talk to Johns Hopkins University about a possible partnership up there. That type of vision, that type of opportunity creates so much synergy for job creation. It's second to none. And those are the things that we want to keep going on in Arlington.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, Jim. We appreciate you joining us for this candidate forum, and good luck in the race. And as a reminder to everyone, Jim and Amy are running for mayor, and the election day is May 6th. So thank you so much to everybody. Forgot to turn my timer off. Thanks, Jim. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, we are now going to move into our first city council race. We are going to District 3. So I am looking for Nikki. Nikki, there you are. I'm going to move you up to panelist. So we're going to start with Nikki. We have 2 candidates in District 3. Nikki, I need you to turn your mic and video on, please. Nikki, oh, perfect.
Perfect. Sorry about that. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Good. I'm in the car. Sorry.
All good. Okay, so I'm going to start the timer. You have 2 minutes for your opening statement.
Perfect. Well, hi, good morning. My name is Nikki Hunter, and it is a pleasure to have served as city council member for the last couple of years. Apologize about my voice this morning. It's as city council of District 3, I think it's definitely our job to make sure that we are serving the people of the district. And that's what I've worked hard for the last couple of years to make sure that I am serving our neighborhoods. I kept my promise as far as serving our neighborhoods, which means keeping our streets fixed, making sure our potholes are taken care of, making sure our neighborhoods are safe. One of the other things that I made a promise was to take care of our small businesses that are in District 3. I live in one of the most diverse districts, and our small business is no different. We have a lot of amazing small businesses over here that I have really made it my business to make sure that we take care of them in our district. Another thing I did want to state on there is when I came into this position, I came ready to work. And one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I did was make myself available to the people of the district. So I did that I gave my cell phone number out during the campaign, and I never stopped taking calls, text. I've been known to do house calls. I got a little interesting nickname that I still use. I love that nickname. It's Nikki for Neighborhoods. I think it's a good fit because I really have taken on really just taking care of our neighborhoods here in the district. And it's something that's really important to me because I think it's something that before the residents really, and as talking to the people, it's something that they were missing. They really needed someone that was going to come in and that's going to get their hands dirty. Um, I I'm no stranger to hard work, and that's exactly what I've been doing, and that's what I hope to continue to do if reelected for the next 3 years. So thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. We got that right on time. So we are going to move to your question portion. Let me shake my little bowl. Okay. You have 5, 4, 6, 2, 1, 3. So let's let me set a timer first and then we'll get started. So Nikki, your first question is number 5. So what should City Council be doing to promote and ensure equality of opportunity for all citizens in our community?
I think that's a great question. I think it's something that, we have to continuously work on. Like I said, Arlington is getting more and more diverse, and I think that's a great thing. And we do need to make sure that as leaders, we're taking care of all of our citizens. And that's something that I take personally. We represent, and I personally represent every single resident that's in District 3, every single resident in Arlington as well. So I think we have to look at it that way. We need to look at the diversity of the city and make sure that we are addressing any diverse issues. But more importantly, we need to make sure that we're addressing the issue of every single citizen. And that's how we make sure we're taking care of that.
Thank you, Nikki. Okay, we are going to move to your second question, number 4. What is your economic development vision for your district and the city?
Oh, that's a great question. I want to move District 3 to the next level. I think taking care of our small businesses, I think that's the heart of Arlington, is to make sure that we are taking care of our small business owners. We have some great small businesses over here. Like I said, just getting this process started is something I've been able to help with about like 3 or 4 of our businesses over here. And I think that's important. I think really in order to get the economic development, I just want to see District 3 grow. We're an amazing district. I mean, we have the Arlington Highlands over here. We have TCC. I want to see us grow. I want to see more things come in District 3. And in order to do that, we got to make sure we are, number one, taking care of our small businesses and also keeping our eyes open for better growth opportunities for the district in here.
Well, I'm happy you said all that because your next question is number 6, which is small businesses contribute to our economy, employ our family and friends, and support our community. How do you feel the city could better support our local businesses?
I think one of the ways is we can serve as the liaison. And that's exactly what I've done with a lot of small businesses as they're getting started. A lot of the processes are hard. So they might need someone to kind of hold their hand through the process or serve as the middle person. And that's exactly what I've done, whether it's, getting them to the permitting process, getting what planning and zoning, recommending the Arlington Greater Chamber as a way to grow their business. It's just been different ways. And I think we really have to go through that process to make sure that our small businesses are taken care of, because I will repeat, I think our small businesses are the foundation of not only this district, but of the city. So we got to keep our small businesses successful. If they're successful, the city's successful.
Thank you so much for that answer, Nikki. We are going to move to your next question, which is number 2. From your perspective, what is the most important issue facing Arlington? And as a member of City Council, how would you address it?
I think right now, one of our most important, and I speak mostly for District 3, but I think it will probably kind of move into Arlington. I do think, as crime is decreasing, I think we've got to stay on top of crime because we are a growing city. So we want to make sure that we are staying on top of the crime issues that are happening here in Arlington. My district is no different than other parts of Arlington. I work in conjunction with the police, in a partnership to make sure that we are taking care of our neighborhoods. Safe neighborhoods are so important. And that doesn't just speak for District 3, that's all over Arlington. And I am passionate about that. And I think that's really one of our biggest issues.
Well, thank you so much for that. We are going to move to question number 1, which is what prior civic or community service activities do you feel have prepared you to serve on City Council?
Well, I've served in several capacities. I'm a former member of Rotary. I served as president. I've served as vice president, served as area governor, currently on Texas Health Resources as a leadership council, served on the YMCA as chair. I've chaired many positions on there. I really feel that has prepared me for this role in leadership, because leadership is about listening to the people. I mean, especially a city council leadership. I think it's about partnerships. I think it's about building communities. And I think all of those civic positions have prepared me to be in this role of leadership, to make sure that I am being the best city council member that I can be for my district.
Well, thank you so much for that answer. We are going to move to your last question, which is number 3. As a city council member, you'll be a community leader of more than 400,000 residents. Please describe your leadership style and how you intend to collaborate with others to overcome obstacles and make measurable change.
My leadership style is very transparent. I am very collaborative. I am no stranger to calling residents. I love that residents feel that they can just pick up the phone and call me. I do work full time, so a lot of residents have the opportunity to call me 24/7, because I do. Once I was elected city council, I switched to working nights, so I am available a little bit longer than most. And I use that time. If I get an email, I had a gentleman yesterday, just real quick, that sent me a thank you note. He sent me an email literally at 3 a.m, and he was like in shock that I responded back to him. So I love that residents, I love having that style of leadership, because I think it's just, people want you to be able to respond to their issues. Even if you're not able to help them right away, you can at least get them to the person that can help them. That's the type of leadership that I want, and that's the type of leader that I try to be.
Thank you so much for all your answers today, Nikki. We appreciate you joining us. And you are a candidate for District 3 City Council, and you are the current City Council member. So thank you again for being here. Have an amazing day.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, Nikki was our first candidate for District 3. There are 2 candidates. So next we are going to bring up Marvin Sutton. So Marvin, I'm going to come find you on this list and promote you to panelist. I need like some background music. Marvin, I need you to turn on your video and microphone, please.
There we go. Hi, Britton.
Good morning, Marvin. Thank you so
Good
much
morning.
for joining us today. So I am going to set the timer and you will have 2 minutes for your opening statement. Thank you so much.
Good morning, and thank you, Chamber, for putting this on. I think it's important that your organization get to see the different views, opinion that are being brought forth. My name is Marvin Sutton. I'm a former air traffic controller who spent 30 years serving the aviation community, as well as 8 years serving the country. I took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And I've served during one of the toughest times on Arlington City Council when we were in the middle of a pandemic. We had to roll things back in and roll them back out slowly, but I've been tested as a council member. I bring a lot of vision to the district. I was one that brought and suggested $200,000 corridor study to give that elevated experience and allow citizens to weigh in what Arlington East, Southeast side should feel and look like. My name is Marvin Sutton. I look forward to sharing and answering your questions.
Well, thank you, Marvin. Again, that was quick. So we'll get straight into the questions. So let me set my timer, shake my bowl. Okay. You have 2, 4, 6, 5, 3, 1. So question number 2, from your perspective, what is the most important issue facing Arlington? And as a member of City Council, how would you address it?
Public safety is always the #1 issue in most cities, but I want to step back because a few weeks ago, Arlington put out a notice that says to limit your water use. Our infrastructure is so critical, need to be updated. If we lose the ability of a main water line, it shuts down the entire city. And so we've got to take care of our infrastructure. It's so critical, whether it's our network system, our waters, our roads, we have to take care of those strategically. And what I mean is we've got to go in, we only have limited funds to do major repairs, but we got one of the best departments, public work and transportation, I think, in the region. Here's how we do it. We strategically target those systems that are vulnerable. We actually use cost-saving measures to replace, upgrade those systems. I think if we're forward thinking, we can take care of the problem before it become a big situation where we're behind the power curve. So infrastructure is going to be really key and a passion of mine.
Well, thank you for that answer. We are going to move now to question number 4. What is your economic development vision for your district and the city?
So while I was on the council, I asked the council to approve $200,000 corridor study. If you look at the city of Grand Prairie and Mansfield on the southeast side, we're basically we're handing them an opportunity to do more because we're giving up sales tax dollars across 360. The corridor study was to allow citizens to weigh in so we can come up with a plan where we can compete with the Home Depot and Grand Prairie by bringing the Lowe's on the other side. There are 4,000 units of apartments along that corridor. Imagine the sales tax revenue that can be generated. We lost out, but I did support the EDC, Economic Development Corporation, with a 1/4% sales tax. I think it was a smart move on the council during the time, and it still is a good move. We need the wow factor, different landscaping to attract those businesses to come on the southeast side of Arlington. We have an industrial complex on the east side around 360 and Barton Road. Here's the time for us to take Arlington to the next level and elevate the southeast side.
Thank you, Marvin. We are going to move to your next question, which is number 6. Small businesses contribute to our economy, employ our family and friends, and support our community. How do you feel the city could better support local small businesses?
Small business are the economic engine of our country. Most large Fortune 500 companies started out as small businesses. They feel a need in our community. They feel a demand in our community. We have to streamline the process. Arlington has a one-stop shop that does a phenomenal job of working with businesses. What we can do is eliminate a lot of the restrictions, but we want to make sure it embraces an atmosphere. They feel welcome to come and they are open to ask questions, and we navigate them through those little potholes. So I think they're critical for our economy. I think they offer a lot of value to our communities.
Thank you, Marvin. Okay, next question is number 5. What should City Council be doing to promote and ensure equality of opportunity for all the citizens in our community?
Our country is going through a tough time. There's a lot of divisiveness in our country, and so we need to unify our community. Everybody wants what's best for Arlington. We may have different ways of getting there. So from Marvin's point of view, I believe that we've got to be diverse when we make appointments to board and commissions. We got to be diverse when we're eliminating barriers for minority business to compete for contracts. I believe in access and opportunity to contracts, employment, and jobs. So we have to be methodical. We have to be respectful of people who have difference or difference of opinion. I'll give you a prime example in our community. When we were trying to change the way we look at things in Arlington, we wanted to come up with a term limit, and we worked across with different diverse ideologies to get it done. And I think it proves that we can do things in Arlington that most communities can't do. We can come together and work for a common good.
Thank you so much for that answer. Moving to number 3, as a city council member, you'll be a community leader of our more than 400,000 residents here in Arlington. Please describe your leadership style and how you would collaborate with others to overcome obstacles and make measurable change.
So my style is more diplomatic. I think it's important to respect people. Every now and then, once the old staff that I used to work with, I always send them a text message saying, how are you doing? Are your family okay? I think if we care enough to just be thoughtful about these people who are working on behalf of the city and our citizens, treat them with a little dignity and respect. I think that's important. I think my leadership style allows for that. It allows people to help move the city in a direction, but also showing that we really care about the staff, we really care about the citizens. And it's really important that we're able to provide a leadership style that shows we're open, we're transparent, and we care.
Thank you so much. We're going to move to your last question, which is what prior civic or community service activities do you feel have prepared you to serve as a member of City Council?
Number one, I served in the United States Air Force. It taught me integrity. It taught me honor. It taught me what it means to protect a document called the Constitution that I didn't understand at age 17, but I was willing to give my life for freedoms that you enjoy every day. The Bible said, greater love has no man than this, to lay down his life for a friend. And I was willing to do that. That's leadership at its highest level, when you're going out to do more for people in the community who may not even know you, who may have a different opinion about you. But I think that in order for us to move forward, we have to unite our city. We have to unite all our people. We have to unite all our business, because at the end of the day, we want to achieve that American dream. We are the dream city. And it makes sense that we unite through our leadership role.
Well, Marvin, thank you so much for joining us today. That is all of the questions. We truly appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure and honor.
And as a reminder to everyone, Marvin Sutton and Nikki Hunter are running for City Council District 3 here in Arlington, and we appreciate that both of them were able to join us. So now we are going to move over to District 4, and we have 2 candidates there as well. So first we have on this list, Andrew Peel. So Andrew, let me find you, promote you up to panelist.
Can you hear me?
We can. Good morning, Andrew.
Morning, Britton.
So thank you so much for joining us today as a candidate for District 4. You are the incumbent, just so everybody knows. I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes, and please give us your opening statement.
My name is Andrew Peel. I was born and raised in Arlington. I got here in 1972, the same day, actually the same month the Rangers got here. And I went to UT Austin for undergrad and law school, went to Ditto Young and Martin, graduated from Martin, go Warriors. And when I got back from law school, I was an assistant district attorney in Tarrant County for a while, but for the last 20 years, I've been a partner in a construction law firm. I'm board certified, one of only 71 lawyers in Texas board certified in construction law. And I'm also a Texas super lawyer for the past 7 years. I've been a member of the chamber since 1998. And, I've had lots of fun being on council. I love the people of this city, and I'm focused like a laser beam on improving the experience for business and residents and visitors to Arlington, because this city is very, very special. The people in it are very special, and I owe them a debt for all they gave me as I was growing up here.
Well, thank you so much for that opening statement. That was wonderful. So we are going to move to the question portion. Let me set my timer and shake up my list of questions. Okay, so you have 362-145. Okay, so we are going to start here with question 3, Andrew, and that is, as a city council member, you'll be a community leader of more than 400,000 residents. Please describe your leadership style and how you collaborate with others to overcome obstacles and make measurable change.
My leadership style stems from my extensive experience representing small, medium, and large-sized businesses as they navigate the business world and grow and try to be able to prosper. That means that I have to work really well with people who have issues and concerns with the city of Arlington. A big part of an Arlington City Councilman's job is oversight of the city and making it work for regular people who live in Arlington, who pay for it, by the way. And what I try to do whenever somebody a small business calls the city and has a concern, like Hurtado Barbecue, one of the best barbecue places in Texas, when they were trying to open, they had problems with getting the city to approve their permits and opening. So I went to bat for Hurtado. I gathered information from Hurtado. You go to the city. People at the city are all good people, and you have to work constructively with them to work through problems and issues and not just attack them as being some sort of outsider. And we were able to work together collaboratively, going back and forth. Communication is generally one of the biggest problems when any sort of conflict or dispute arises. and I'm a certified mediator. So what I try to do is I try to find both sides' story and then eliminate the communication barriers or misunderstandings in order to resolve an issue. I'm happy to say that once we worked with the planning department at the city, we were able to get Hurtado open, and it's prospering greatly. And I do that all the time for businesses and residents throughout Arlington.
Well, thank you so much for that answer, Andrew. We are going to move to your next question, number 6. Oh, right in line of what you just said. Small businesses contribute to our economy, employ our family and friends, and support our community. How do you feel the city could better support local business owners?
This is an issue that's near and dear to me because I represent small businesses, and I know when they put their entire savings into something and start something, it's their baby. It's something that's critically important to them, and it can lead to a massive amount of bandwidth overload. When you're running a business, so much is coming at you all the time. And one of the biggest problems is that the city can be complex. It can be intimidating. It can be hard for a small business person who has maybe about 10% of their bandwidth to allocate during a day just to keep the doors open to city issues. So what I really want to do is I try to demystify the city, work as an ombudsman for businesses, explain things to small businesses and how they work, act as a counselor and a conduit for positive information and conflict resolution with city departments. But I also think we have to simplify the ability to bid for City of Arlington business. You know, whenever you bid for a city contract, the packet you get is that big, right? And if you have a choice between doing one city contract or 5 private sector contracts, you're going to do the 5 private sector because you're going to have to read and learn all about that city bid package, right? So I support the city's efforts to have online seminars and that sort of thing to demystify the government contracting process so we have more bidders and more opportunities for Arlington businesses to be able to prosper by getting business from the city of Arlington.
Well, thank you so much for that answer, Andrew. We are going to move now to question number 2. From your perspective, what is the most important issue facing Arlington? And as a member of City Council, how would you address it?
The number one overriding issue is keeping people safe. That's the core function of city government. But there's also a second issue that also filters through every single decision I make as a longtime member of Arlington. Arlington's gone through a development cycle. In the 80s, everything in the city was new and we were South Lake. As things age out, you have more challenges, especially with your aging 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s housing stock. And that is the critical filter through which I look at everything I do on council. Will this decision make somebody want to buy an old 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s Arlington house and fix it up with their own money? I mean, thank God for Chip and Joanna Gaines, because in Arlington now, because of decisions made by this council and by the fact that we understand it's about the people who live here when we do economic development or small business development, people are buying our older houses and fixing them up. But if we don't focus like a laser beam on the issue of making this city a place where people want to buy our older homes and update them, then neighborhoods start to decline and we end up in a very bad place. So that really is Arlington's existential challenge. Everything we do has to encourage people to want to move here, buy an old house and fix it up with their own money. And that's really how I focus all my economic development ideas and perception and efforts, is through that prism.
Well, thank you so much for that answer. We are now moving to question number 1. What prior civic or community service activities do you feel have prepared you to serve on City Council?
Well, of course, I've been on council for 4 years. I've been chair, thanks to the mayors, Jeff Williams and Jim Ross of the Economic Development Committee of the City Council, been part of the growth of the EDC, the Economic Development Corporation. Prior to that, I was an Arlington Planning and Zoning Commissioner. I served on this Arlington Citizens Budget Review Committee in 2002, so I came in ready to attack the budget, and that's a big document that's very complex. I served on 2 Arlington Citizen Bond Committees in 2014 and 2017. I served as a member of the Arlington Comprehensive Plan Update Committee in 2013-2014. I served on the Arlington ISD Capital Needs Steering Committee in 2014 with Jeff Williams. I was a member of the Chamber Board of Directors from 2008 to 2009. Member of the Chamber for a very long time, a member of the Government Relations Council of the Chamber since 2004 until I got on. And I also was Vice President of the Arlington Education Foundation for several years back before I got on council. And you know, what's really important is I've lived here. I know people here. Whenever my 5th grade teacher, Miss Sutter, says, Andrew, I've got a pothole in front of my driveway, I need it fixed, I can fix it. So it's my personal relationships with people in the neighborhoods that I grew up in that really, I think, are the most important thing that prepare me for this job.
Well, thank you so much, Andrew. So we are going to move to question number 4. What is your economic development vision for the city and your district?
Well, what's really important is spreading the benefit of economic development throughout the city to all levels of businesses. But also, one of the things we have to focus on in reference to making people want to buy our older homes and fix them up is the city's appearance. All right. You know, one of the things I've been able to do was have the city staff make a list of 20 apartment complexes in Arlington that are problematic. And what we're trying to do is locate private capital that'll work with us in order to refurbish, restore aging multifamily developments. Also had the city create a list of about 20 different shopping centers in Arlington that need some help. And slowly but surely, we're going to work through that list with the help of the Economic Development Corporation to try to find a way to refurb these shopping destinations because you know, that's what makes people want to buy houses. If they're next to a grocery store that's really nice, they like it. Well, we have some old and tired shopping centers that we need some help to partner with those people in order to bring them up to something that people feel proud to drive by every day. Town North is an example of that. What's going on in Lincoln Square, we need to replicate that throughout the entire city. In addition, I was part of the effort to create
I'm so sorry, we've hit your 7 minutes. Thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate it. We appreciate you joining us. So thank you again. Andrew is running for City Council District 4 as the incumbent.
One last thing, my cell phone number is 817-366-8810. Call me if I need to hear from you and need your advice or guidance. I'm saying this to anybody who's watching this. Had the same cell phone number for 20 years. Not going to change it. I look forward to hearing from each of y'all watching.
Thank you, Andrew. Have a lovely day. Okay, we are moving to our second candidate for City Council District 4. His name is Chris Dobby Dobson. Chris, are you on here with us today? Chris, if you are here, raise your hand. I am not seeing you on this list. Okay, we will go ahead and move to our next city council district. So we are talking about City Council District 8, which is an at-large district. Dr. Barbara Odom Wesley was not able to join us this morning. She let me know far in advance they had a flight booked to a previous engagement. Those are a little difficult to change, but she wanted to say that she appreciates that the chamber is hosting this and to remind everybody that their vote and their voice are important. So please vote. Election day is May 6th and early voting opens April 24th. So she could not be here again, but we appreciate her sending along her condolences. So our other candidate in District 8, so it's Dr. Barbara Odom Wesley as the incumbent, and then David Mosby is the other candidate. So David, I'm going to bring you up. David, will you please turn on your video and your microphone?
There we go. Can you hear me?
We have you. Thank you so much for joining us today. So I'm going to start the timer for your 2-minute opening statement. And if you have any questions, let me know. But thank you for joining us.
Thank you. My name is David Mosby, and I'm running for City Council District 8, which covers the entire city. I'm not a polished politician, so I have my little cheat sheet here. I sort of feel like a candidate that we all knew before that got questions. This way, I love these forums. I'm being outspent 20-1, and these forums do so much more than road signs that just show that the candidate owes a lot of favors. So I am being outspent 20-1 and appreciate the opportunity to tell you about this important election. I was urged to run by conservative leaders. I've been a critic in the past, and I better put up or shut up. I also have seen the degradation of cities across America led by liberal Democrats. I don't want to see this more in Arlington. Many years ago, when I was attending UTA, I got to hear the great Mayor Vandergriff say, I'm here for you. If you need me, call me. I'm in the book. I would like to be that kind of council person. I earned my finance degree at UTA, and I earned an MBA in international business down the street at TCU. After UTA, I spent years in the oil and gas industry. I had my own medical business. Then I got into higher education, where I taught at TCC, UTA, and then I went to the Middle East to run an entrepreneur center. I ended my higher education
Sorry,
career.
David, we're at our 2 minutes, but we're going to go into the questions. So you still have plenty of time to share your story.
Okay.
So your question order is 426-351. So we are going to start with question number 4. What is your economic development vision for the city, because your district represents the whole city?
Okay, economic development needs to be watched very carefully in Arlington. Past leaders have not done a great job. Arlington's overrun with apartments. I'm one of the few candidates that will say it. I also see that my opponent took federal money to put in more apartments. The second I started running, I started getting calls about there's too many apartments. We have all the former planning and zoning commission members and city councils that have approved those apartments. Also, many of these apartments aren't paying their fair share of property tax. They're low rent apartments. Many put the cash right in their pocket, and we hope to change some of those things by enforcing code enforcement and such that.
Would you like me to go?
Pardon me. If we look at Arlington as a nation, we need to bring money into Arlington, inside the borders. What the city council did, pushing money to legal draft, that doesn't help bring in outside money. I am in favor of some targeted development like Summit Racing, where we gave them tax breaks to put in significant capital project, and that brings money into Arlington. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer. We're going to move to question number 2, which is, from your perspective, what is the most important issue facing Arlington? And as a member of City Council, how would you address it?
The most important issue in Arlington is public safety. The Arlington Police Association endorsed my opponent despite her early calling for, her party calling for defunding the police. I don't understand that. These associations endorse the incumbent no matter what. I'm very disappointed that our mayoral candidate, Amy Kernall, was not even interviewed by the police. This is just wrong. The other issues facing us today is a little that when a loved one is taken from us, that ruins people's lives. Taxes, these little issues are nothing compared to violent crime taking lives. People have said earlier, crime is down. Violent crime is up. We have to work with police and work in our neighborhoods to see that crime goes lower, especially violent crime.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move to question number 6, which is, small businesses contribute to our economy, employ our family and friends, and support our community. How do you feel the city could better support our local small businesses?
I've owned a few small businesses and have written, graded, and vetted hundreds of business plans. I assist entrepreneurs by helping them write their business plans, and then I vet them and help them get along the way, also by helping them save on accounting and tax preparation. I usually do this for free. Small businesses just don't have money to be spending thousands of dollars on consultants. I know what entrepreneurs need. Government and interference is one of the worst hurdles facing small business. Although if our mayor wants to open a bar in the Texas Live, things go really smoothly for some. This is just wrong, because I've heard from other people that they've had big problems with code enforcement and getting permits from the city.
Thank you so much. We're going to move to your next question, which is number 3. As a member of City Council, you'll be a community leader of more than 400,000 residents. Please describe your leadership style and how you collaborate with others to overcome obstacles and make measurable change.
I probably understand leadership better than most because I taught it at UTA 3 times. I would be a consultative leader, as I have been already. I started getting phone calls and emails about the apartments as soon as I announced I was running. I would be transparent. Liberals and their establishment making money from the city worry about me, and that has found my appointment to in my opponent's endorsement list. I would describe myself as a transformational leader. I see Arlington as okay, but I see that we need so much more to improve to the next level. We need to cut property taxes. As we do this, more weight will be shifted to the sales tax, which I'm glad to see growing. We have a systemic increase in property tax over many years. Most of us have on our TAD statement value much lower than what we could sell it for. So we're looking at years and years of increases, and this is just wrong. My next door neighbor had to move because of property taxes. Some people pay 1/10 of what I pay in property taxes just because they retired early. Our Tarrant Appraisal District, we finally are getting rid of Ms. Weilman and also Tony Pompa, who defended her. We need to get rid of these people that support a corrupt organization. And as we move closer and closer into that, we will see more of its corruption.
Okay, we're going to move to your next question. Thank you so much. Your next question is number 5, and you have 20 seconds to answer it. What should City Council be doing to promote and ensure equality of opportunity for all citizens in our community?
Arlington needs to stop picking winners and losers. Former administration was making war against some of the bars on Division. Not that I really love those companies, but it's not the city of Arlington government leaders to say, we don't want you anymore. Those entrepreneurs invested their own money and, deserve to have their shot at that. I want to just say, for more information, mosby4arlington.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us again, David. Mosby and Dr. Barbara Odom Wesley are running for City Council District 8, which is an at-large district. And I am changing his role. Sorry. Thank you, sir, for joining us today. So again, as a reminder to everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this forum today. We appreciate you being here. This will be the election on May 6th. If you'd like to vote early voting starts on April 24th. If there's anything here at the chamber we can ever do for you, please reach out. Thank you so much for joining us today. And remember, together we succeed.